when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at kbla1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to kbla1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
It's the Dramatics on Smiley and West. It's Monday, and every Monday and Thursday, top of the second hour. Dr. Cornel West shows up, and always delighted to be in conversation with him. The Dramatics today, Dr. West? The Dramatics?
Yeah, brother, I'm telling you, when you're talking about your critique of Con Edison and them trying to disrespect you and the precious black people in Altadena, you say, get off our cloud, get off our mountain. You're not going to put us down. We stand up. You know what happened with the triumph of David over Goliath. That's the history of black people.
No, I love it.
The way you formulated that so powerfully, brother, and you say the same thing about Trump, same thing about fascism, same thing about white supremacy, same thing about what's happened, genocide in Gaza and imperialist subjugation of a people that seem abandoned, but they still keep coming. David, Goliath. Get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Turn it up, Miles. Turn it up. Turn it up. I should say to the national audience, for those listening in L.A., they know the details of this. But to the national audience who have been tapped into this, we've been going at it with Southern California Edison here. And let me just frame this, and then Doc and I can talk more about it. But for those, again, listening nationally who didn't hear me this morning on my local station in L.A., KBLA, talking about this, we officially today demanded a public apology from Southern California Edison in the next 48 hours. They've got 48 hours to apologize to us publicly because they have repeatedly lied about this station. They've lied on me, but I can handle that. But you cannot lie on a black media outlet, not in this space, in this moment, and certainly not while I'm helming it here in Southern California. And Dr. West and I were talking last night on the phone about the way in which we live in an era where Donald Trump is epitomizing and normalizing lying. And I guess because he does it, everybody else thinks they can do it. They can just lie, and get away with it. And the more you lie, the more people believe that lie. And so Southern California Edison, who burned all these homes down in Altadena, it was their faulty equipment that set that ablaze, afire. And all these homes are lost, and memories and lives. 19 people perished on that particular day, but 430 plus have died since then from all kinds of maladies, heartbreak and medical conditions. But people have just given up hope, some of them have. So it's not just the 19 on that night, it's the 400 and counting who've died since January the 7th. So that's the number we're talking about here. It's a lot of deaths in this community of Altadena, what many call a black Wakanda. You should know that Altadena had the highest rate of black home ownership of any space in this country. Higher than Prince George's County, higher than Baldwin Hills, View Park, Ladera Heights here in LA, these two wealthy black enclaves. Nobody could come anywhere close to the percentage of black home ownership that they experienced in Altadena. Now all that's been wiped out. So we had a town hall meeting a week or two ago that Edison had agreed to come to address questions from this community about this so-called settlement fund. They're calling it a fast pay program. We find it to be neither fast nor fair. And so we wanted to query them about this settlement fund. At the last minute, they decided not to show up. So they ghosted us. But they have continued in media spaces to just lie about us and the conditions that they were trying to avoid by not coming to this town hall. Namely, they didn't want to face other plaintiffs' attorneys. They didn't want to deal with people who represented clients. And we made it abundantly clear to them in email with attachments. We made it clear to them that there were going to be no plaintiffs' attorneys. And so they pulled out anyway, and the excuse they used was there were going to be plaintiffs' attorneys on the stage. But they knew full well that was not the truth. We made that abundantly clear, and they have continued as recently as a couple of days ago to spread this lie about this station. And so we today went on the record and have publicly full confession, got myself in some trouble, and Dr. West said to me, Brother Tavis, I'll say this. Even when you're justified, you want to remain dignified. So a lesson I learned many, many years ago. I wrote about it in one of my books. Fail Up is the book I recall. But even when you're justified, you want to remain dignified. And so what we have done is not to immediately call for the firing of these two persons, Kathleen Dunleavy and Scott Johnson, who keep lying on us in the press and in the media. We didn't call for their firing today. Not yet. We are asking for an apology. So we're trying to save some space for grace. Let them apologize first. And if they don't, then we'll take the next step. But again, Trump has normalized this kind of lying on people. And there's a conversation to be had about this moment that we find ourselves in, where everybody's just lying on people and thinking they can get away with it. But the truth is exposing some of these people, like Larry Summers, who we talked about last week. I mentioned earlier in the program with the first hour with John Nichols that I read a piece in the Harvard Crimson last night. It was a damning piece about Larry Summers. So anyway, Doc has set the frame for us. Get off my cloud, get off my mountain, stop all this lying, and stop the normalization of it. So there's a conversation to be had there. We're going to jump right into it when we come forward. Dr. Cornel West on Tavis Smiley.
From the Mert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher, I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify.
In an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
He does indeed, Dr. Cornel West. He has picked his theme song for today, in case you've just tuned in, the Dramatics. Hey, you, get off my cloud, get off my mountain. So, Doc, you set the frame. I want to just operate inside of it. And I think I want to start here because your invocation, you're referencing the Edison issue that we're wrestling with here in Southern California, and our public call today. I was on the air this morning here in L.A. on our station demanding a public apology from Edison in the next 48 hours for continuing to lie. We read emails. We released those emails where it's clear they were lying. We played audio of them lying on local television here. So the data is out there. The evidence is abundantly clear to me. Anybody can see it and read it and tap in for yourself. But I also made the point that you and I were discussing in our prior phone call last night that is now public about the fact that we live in an era where Donald Trump has so epitomized and normalized this lying. And it's not like, corporate America or other persons in this country, white people, not all of them, of course, have been, exploiting and lying on black folk for years. But Donald Trump, we're at a nadir with this guy. I mean, he has really, to your point, just kind of normalized this. Let's start there, and we'll work our way from there. But just talk to me about the fact that in some respects in this country right now, the truth is on life support, man.
Oh, no doubt about that. But we got to keep in mind, though, that American presidents have been lying for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
Trump just takes it to a certain height, and he's much more preoccupied with the 11th commandment, thou shalt not get caught, that when they lied in the past, that people had some semblance of accountability. So if they got caught, like even Nixon, one of the biggest gangsters in the White House, just like Trump.
Yeah.
But when he actually got caught, he left. Here come Gerald Ford, Whereas with Trump, he tells 25,000 lies every 7 months or so, and still acts as if there's no accountability, no answerability, no responsibility. So you're absolutely right. And that's going to be true for companies. It's going to be true for churches. It's going to be true for people across the board. Now, lies are usually tied to either hiding crimes are hiding something that people would be ashamed of.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to public policy, mendacity are kissing cousins. They go hand in hand. That's the history of black folk. White supremacy ain't nothing but a lie to hide a crime that criminalizes black people. What's happening in Altadena is an attempt to criminalize the people in terms of not treating them like human beings. And when they're victimized, act as if they have no court of appeal. So they might as well, in fact, be criminals or treated less than human in that sense. Yeah. And part of the genius of the dramatics, though, brother, Snoop used to say there's two kind of black people in America: those who like the dramatics over the temptations, or those who like the temptations over the dramatics. But we all like both of them.
Yes.
All of us like both of them.
That's right.
Meaning what? Dramatics gonna rip the veil off all of the deodorized, superficial stuff and take you to the truth. Tony Hester died at 34, same age as the great Lorraine Hansberry. He take you to the truth. In the rain, he take you to the truth. What you see is what you get. He take you to the truth. Hey, you, get off my mother hucking mountain. Edison, get off the mother shut your mouth mountain. Tell the truth. Yeah. Tell the truth. Quit lying on Brother Tavis. Quit lying on KBLA. Quit lying on black people. Quit lying on all these attempts to hide your profits, hide your money.
Yeah. And see, that part of what came out in this town hall that they, backed out of, ghosted us at the last minute, part of what comes out is with this settlement fund, and I said earlier, it's neither fast nor fair as we're concerned. And that's not just me. There are a number of consumer advocate groups who've looked at this and done some research. And one of those persons was a guest on this program. Andrew Wessels brilliantly showed up on our panel in Pasadena for the town hall and just broke this down. So somewhere between 53 and 73%, 73 is the high number, but somewhere in the 53% plus range is all you're being offered. So Edison has absolutely no interest or intent to try to make you whole. No intent with this settlement fund. They're not trying to make you whole. You're going to get nowhere near the market value of whatever you lost before they burnt it down. And we laid out the details of what's in this plan, what's not in this plan, what you're signing away. Once you sign the bottom line, what you are never entitled to thereafter. We talked about 9/11 in New York City, where Dr. West is right now, teaches at Union, and all the issues, the health issues, the other maladies that showed up years after 9/11 that people deserve to have been compensated for. But you sign this settlement fund agreement with Edison, and you're stuck. What you get is what you get, and that's all you get. And I want to be clear about this, Doc. I said this then. I've said it since then, that people have agency to decide what's best for their families.
That's right.
You got it. If you want to fight this out with a law firm representing you for the next few years, that's your business. And so people have to have the right to decide what's best for them. But our job is to make sure you know the facts. As we say, measure twice, cut once, right? Cut once, measure twice. So we want you to have all the facts, and that's what we were attempting to do by inviting them, which they agreed to come to in writing, this town hall. And then they back out at the last minute, and then you want to lie on us about why you didn't show up. When all that detail was laid out again, we released what we call the Edison files. Everybody's talking about the Epstein files. We released today the Edison files. And so I just came clean and transparent, put all the so folk can see for themselves that we are telling the truth. And here's why this matters, Doc. It matters because black institutions in particular don't have the luxury of having their integrity impugned when you are the last line of truth tellers in a moment like this. Donald Trump is getting corporate America to bend the knee every single day. And all the black folk that worked at MSNBC have been fired, Jory Reid and all the rest of them. And I can go to other places. Michelle Morial, the wife of Mark Morial, the head of the Urban League, just lost her job the other day. She's been the anchor on the weekend show at CBS for years now. She's gone. So you see all these black faces in media spaces starting to be disappeared. And so the black media is the last line. we're the last line here, Doc, trying to tell the truth. And if you let people impugn you with no consequence and your integrity suffers, then who's going to be around to hold the line to tell the truth, to get the backs of black people, Doc? And that's why it's so important to us.
That's exactly right. But the good news is truth crushed the earth
shall
rise again.
That's it.
They can't crush black people. You can't crush poor people. You can't crush working class people and think all of a sudden you have erased the truth and eliminated veracity. No, it seeps back. It bounces back. It cannot be completely done away with. Thank God for KBLA. I'm blessed to be on a part of the channel, though, brother.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
why we tell the truth, go down swinging, and we still smiling because we got love in our heart, even when we telling the truth against the Goliaths of the world.
Yeah, no, Doc and I love that. We love that those brilliant lines. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne.
Forever on the throne.
Yet that scaffold sways the future.
The future.
And behind the dim
unknown
standeth God within the shadows.
Within the shadows.
Keeping watch.
Above his own.
That's it, man. That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
Lord, W. Du Bois has that in one of his epigraphs, one of his chapters.
Oh, yeah.
The souls of black. Well, Martin Luther King loved it too.
Oh, yeah. King loved it, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, truth can be on the scaffold and wrong can be sitting on a throne. But that ain't the end of the story. That ain't how it ends.
That's not the end of the story. Thank God for Jesus and thank God for truth.
Yeah, well, that's why we've demanded this public apology within the next 48 hours. We shall see what happens there. But this circles me back to Donald Trump, as we discussed earlier, about, his normalizing this kind of lying right about now. But it also circles me back to this Jeffrey Epstein matter, these Epstein files. And so I saw last night, I know you read it, I saw this Harvard Crimson piece, and I said earlier, I think they've done probably these are students, man, but they've done some of the best work unpacking these emails that have already been released. But this story about Larry Summers, again, and we all know you're running with him at Harvard, the despicable things he said about you publicly, which led you to lead Harvard. We discussed that in detail last week when this story broke about these emails regarding Larry Summers. But this Harvard Crimson piece, which I invite you to read at your leisure, it
Gangsterism is ideologically promiscuous. Just as it is politically in some ways ubiquitous. It's a human thing. It cuts across ideology, politics, cuts across race, cuts across class, cuts across gender. And the fact that he's now been exposed is what we've been trying to say for 25 years.
Yeah.
And in this case, it talks about him, dealing with students, man, and putting pressure on students, manipulating students and harassing students and so forth. You say, Lord, have mercy, Summers. How low can you go? And yet he still what? Embrace. It's just like my blood brother Cliff West say, white male privilege is something else, man. He's still writing for the New York Times. He's still on 9, 10 different advisory boards and boards of directors. He's still university professor at Harvard. He's still embraced by, as he was the Obama administration, and made Secretary of Treasury and head of the Council of Economic Advisors. And we were trying to tell them back then, hey, you're dealing with a gangster. They didn't mind.
Yeah.
And he led the charge against messing with the black administrators at Harvard, be they deans at the Divinity School, or even be they presidents, both of them black sisters. You say, what's going on? Come on, Brother Summers.
Yeah,
you need to be rendered accountable, man.
They ran Claudine Gay out of there as the first, the sister president. And according to this Harvard Crimson piece, he is still teaching right now 3 classes at Harvard. I wonder how his students are looking at him when he's in the classroom trying to get the lesson plan underway, and they reading all this stuff about him in the Harvard Crimson and everywhere else. But he's trying to teach 3 classes even as we speak. We will see, to the point that Doc makes, how Harvard treats him now, and whether or not he's shown the exit door as they did Claudine Gay. I digress on that for now. There is some breaking news A judge today has said that missteps in this James Comey case could result in the charges against him being dismissed. Magistrate Judge William Fitzpatrick said the government's handling of the case raises genuine issues of misconduct. That's his phrase, genuine issues of misconduct. As you know, the Trump administration has gone after James Comey because Trump told them to. They've gone after Letitia James because Trump told them to. So as John Nichols and I were discussing in that first hour, Donald Trump just controls this Department of Justice. That is not the way it is supposed to work. Anything he tells Pam Bondi to do, Pam Bondi does. But now you have a judge saying a number of missteps and mistakes in this case raise genuine issues of misconduct for the judge. And this case, maybe, we shall see, may be ultimately dismissed. But here again, that's your point, Doc. They just behave like gangsters. Trump tells the Department of Justice what to do, and they do what he says, Doc.
Oh, I know. Well, the thing is, you can't have gangsters triumph unless you have the people being cowardly. And that's very, very important to keep in mind. When the people are strong with backbone and spine, gangsters pull back, just like in the playground. The gangsters trying to take over the ball and steal all the marbles.
Yeah.
No, get your folk together and let the gangster know that those marbles are not his, and those and if it's a woman, it uses them.
And that's why we can't take this on the chin. You start lying on black media needs to stand up, show their spine, show their backbone, and that's what we intend to do here in Southern California. We thank Dr. Cornel West for joining us every Monday and Thursday, top of the second hour. Doc, we love you. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Love you, brother. Stay strong now.
More Tavis Five when we come forward.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. John Beam, the college football coach featured on Netflix's Last Chance U, has died after being shot Thursday on Laney College's campus in Oakland, California. Black former Oakland Police Chief Lerone Armstrong says Beam was more than a coach.
He was a father figure to thousands of not only men, but young women in our community.
Police arrested 27-year-old Cedric Irving Jr., calling the attack targeted. Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson's $16 billion budget faces a key vote today, but a proposed corporate head tax is a sticking point. Johnson says it's either tax big corporations or raise property and garbage fees. And philanthropist Mackenzie Scott has donated $50 million to Bowie State University, the largest gift in its history. The Maryland HBCU previously received $25 million from Scott in 2020. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
It's the Black Friday of all Black Fridays now at Big O Tires. Buy 3, get 1 free on select tires with paid installation, or get 50% off a full synthetic oil change and 20% off any repair service. It's Black Friday now through December 7th at your local Big O Tires.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron may be getting close to making his debut for his 23rd NBA season. LeBron was reassigned to the Lakers roster Sunday after practicing and scrimmaging for 4 days last week with the South Bay Lakers, the team's G League affiliate. LeBron will practice today with the Lakers. A decision could be made to put LeBron in the lineup for Tuesday's home game against Utah. LeBron has been out since training camp with a sciatic nerve condition in his lower back and left leg. The Rams took over first place in the NFC West after their 21-19 showdown win over Seattle at SoFi. Seattle kicker Jason Myers missed a 61-yard field goal attempt at the final buzzer. The 8-2 Rams intercepted Seattle quarterback Sam Darnold 4 times. The Chargers were embarrassed in Jacksonville Sunday. They lost 35-6. The Chargers dropped to 7-4, 2 games behind Denver in the AFC West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive.
Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MAJOR25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MAJOR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MAJOR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
You are indeed, and I'm glad about it. We pivot from Dr. Cornel West to Dr. Decoteau Irby, University of Illinois Chicago professor, co-editor and co-author of a new piece of work called Doing the Work of Equity, Leadership for Justice and Systems Change. It looks at the impact of DEI, the pushback on DEI as it relates to school administrators, teachers, and our children. Dr. Irby, good to have you on the program. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
It's good to
I live on the south side of Chicago.
South side.
South side of Chicago. And I'm also a professor of educational policy studies at University of Illinois at Chicago. And I also co-direct our Center for Urban Education Leadership at the university.
Okay. So tell me then about this text. I'll let you top line. I got some questions about it. Doing the Work of Equity, Leadership for Justice and Systems Change. Just top line the text for me. And again, I got some follow-ups.
Yeah, top line. This is a book that chronicles the work of people who are engaged in equity leadership practices in school districts across the country from around 2015 or so up until the present moment. It's a volume that brings together the voices of multiple different leaders as well as academics to lay out what exactly it means to do the work of equity leadership, as well as the kind of constraints of trying to do that within school systems that were not designed and often do not serve children of color well.
Now we can jump straight in. And you've sort of teed up where I wanted to start this conversation in terms of my questions. When we talk about equity leadership, just unpack that phrase for me. What's that agenda? What's that mandate look like, particularly in a moment like this? When we say equity leadership, what are we talking about here?
So when we say equity leadership, what we're referring to in the book is a range of different kinds of leadership practices and activities, not necessarily individual people, but the things that people do when they're discontent about the conditions in their schools. It can range from a number of things, whether it's revising or adopting a broader curriculum, uh, choosing new discipline approaches such as restorative justice to reduce suspensions and expulsions of children, to professional development for teachers to help them engage in more culturally responsive teaching. And all of these things are done with the intention of making school systems work better for children who have historically not found success in public schools.
I always love this phrase. I love a lot of phrases. And yet, when you start to unpack these phrases and you ask what they really mean and how they're being actualized, you end up at zero sometimes. But we all love this phrase, restorative justice. I get it. You get it. This audience gets it. What we mean when we say restorative justice. But what does restorative justice look like in schools? And more to the point, are we making any progress in that regard?
Yeah. So restorative justice in schools looks like giving and extending students and young people grace, opportunities to learn from mistakes, opportunities to develop the kind of social emotional awareness that helps them think about how they can take mistakes or things that they've had problems or troubles with and actually use what they learned through that experience to be better moving forward. The extent to which we've made progress in adopting restorative justice, I would, in a broad stroke, say right now that it's still aspirational. We're still a very punitive society. Schools are a microcosm of society, and we're a punitive society. We have one of the largest incarcerated populations in the world. And so schools reflect a lot of that kind of punishment, law and order, removal, exclusion, and so on and so forth. But in terms of if we look across different kinds of districts, it's really a mixed bag. Some places are still very punitive and not restorative at all, whereas many other places are pretty restorative. I like to tell people, if you want to think about how concrete restorative approaches are, a lot of times if you think about how you would want your children to be treated if they made a mistake at school or in their neighborhood, what would you want them to have the opportunity to do? And that's probably learn from their mistakes, apologize to the people they harmed, and figure out how to take those lessons learned and move forward in their life.
Yeah. Talk to me about the intersection. I think you'll take my point here. The intersection of restorative justice and race in schools. The intersection of restorative justice and race in our schools. Dr. Irby?
Yeah, well, I mean, people, yes, people of color, Black folks in particular, Black boys, Black girls in particular, if we want to be very specific, aren't afforded the opportunities to learn from their mistakes. They're adultified, treated as adults. They're treated as older than they are. They're more likely to be suspended, more likely to be expelled. They have longer suspensions, longer expulsions, and so on and so forth. We know that this happens even despite the fact that children across all different races, genders, ethnicities get in trouble. They make mistakes. It's just that in our society, and in particular in schools, Black children are treated more harshly than other children are.
Yeah. No naivete with this question, but children are children for a reason, and all of us adults were at one point children. What's your read of why we don't allow, again, no naivete here, but why do we not allow children in schools to learn from the mistakes that they make?
You know, that's a good question. I I feel like it's grounded in a deeper history of how Black people in this society are treated. So one of the things that we, write about in the introduction of the book is about this equity leadership work is really done against a historical backdrop that has brought us to this current moment. And there's been really no time historically in the United States where Black people have been extended grace. Even the best of us, Martin Luther King, our giants, our peaceful warriors, our warriors for peace, have been treated harshly, have been jailed, have been, had rocks thrown at them, have been beaten, those sorts of things. So if we think about just the history, Black people and Black children in particular haven't been treated well. Now, if we take that same kind of logic and think about Black people's attempts to protect Black children, a lot of times that's translated into corporal punishment and a kind of level of harshness that reflects the way white folks in the society have treated us historically.
Watching my clock here, let me just tee this up now, and I'll let you unpack this when we come forward. So you talked earlier, you used the word earlier, constraints. When we come forward, I want to give you a chance to talk about the constraints that persons like you find themselves wrestling against, the frame you find yourself in, or trying to break out of when it comes to the barriers, the hurdles, the constraints, there's that word again, that you're up against trying to advance notions of equity leadership in our schools. And I want to ask and most importantly, on our children. Dr. Decoteau Irby, University of Illinois, Chicago professor, co-author and co-editor of the new book called Doing the Work of Equity Leadership for Justice and Systems Change. More with him when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GOLD for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GOLD for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GOLD for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2025, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-260-3330. That's 800-260-3330. Find out if you qualify today. 800-260-3330, or go to republictaxrelief.com.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Delighted to have him on this program. I mentioned two things I want to ask you. Let me start with this constraints first. So tell me more about, and maybe let me do this. You can weave these two things together. As I think about it, these two questions aren't that disparate. I want you to unpack for us the constraints that equity leadership professionals are up against right now, trying to advance these notions of fundamental fairness in our schools. And as I said earlier, I also want to hear you talk about the impact that this anti-DEI, anti-black agenda that the administration is running, the impact that's having on administrators, teachers, and children. I don't think those things are so disconnected, but take it as you will. There you have it. It's all yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the biggest constraint is we really try to identify this professional kind of approach to pursuing justice as being constrained because it is a professional way of doing it. And just really quickly, there's different ways that people have pursued equity and justice. You know, civil rights was through legal means and through the courts. Black Power movement was about popular education and mass mobilization of resources. We've even seen, for example, in the 1980s, the pursuit of kind of like a wealth and, prosperity through kind of like Black capitalist approaches. So the irony or the paradox within the kind of leadership that we're writing about is that it happens within the system. And so these are people who are hired to actually engage in the kind of activities that disrupt the very organization that has hired them. Mm-hmm. And so that creates a dilemma in and of itself. And so there's a whole set of constraints. What do you say in that meeting? When you disagree with something, how hard do you push? All of those things could lead to you no longer being employed, no longer having a job. So that's a major constraint that we identified. And we also learned that, this goes to a bit of your second question, how are people impacted? Mm-hmm. They were tremendously impacted, not only in this current moment, but in the entire duration that we conducted this research project, again, about a decade, because people lost their jobs. People knew that their jobs were always on the line. They were on eggshells, always trying to determine how hard to push or not, when to be quiet, when to speak up, because they were in a very precarious position because their jobs and oftentimes their livelihoods depended on them both pushing and disrupting the system, but also not pushing and disrupting the system so much that it made the system and the people in particular, the white folks, uncomfortable in that setting, which a lot of times would lead to people no longer being employed in those organizations.
Yeah, that's a tightrope, is it not? That's walking a tightrope to do that.
Absolutely, and I mean we heard a lot of stories, which are captured in the book. We have people who are practitioners writing, as well as, we have some of the chapters that are co-authored with practitioners. Uh-huh. But yeah, it was always people walking a very, very thin line. And one of the things that we found is that most people stay in these positions for a relatively short amount of time. So one of the constraints is people realize they got to get in, accomplish 1, 2,
Dr. Irby respond to it when we come forward. How then, in an environment like this, do we advance notions of equality and equity? How do equity leaders actually stand up and show up in a critical moment like this, when the work that they're doing is being sort of poo-pooed by others. Certainly from the White House on down, we see people turning a blind eye to the kind of work that is more critical and more necessary now that we live in the most multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic America ever, and yet we're up against this right about now. Not the best time, but my question is, how do those equity leadership professionals who are profiled in this book and the work that they do show up in a moment like this? We'll put that question to Dr. Irby finally when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. Benefits check.
Accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada. Member FDIC.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Dr. Decoteau Irby for the next 3 minutes at least. Between now and the top of the hour, he's at the University of Illinois, Chicago, professor, co-editor, and co-author of the new text, Doing the Work of Equity Leadership for Justice and Systems Change. That's not easy to do in a moment such as this. As I said already in this conversation, you have an administration pushing an anti-black, anti-DEI agenda. Tupac famously said, keep your head up, keep your head up, keep your head up. But it seems to me that in a moment like this, trying to do this kind of work, you need to keep your head down. So I ask, as the exit question, Dr. Irby, how do those engaged in this kind of equity leadership show up in a moment like this?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting that you mentioned that Tupac quote and kind of turned it on his head a little bit. I think that it's as best as you can, depending on where you are, what your situation is the way that I would describe it. I would think there's one thing. So in part, that means in some areas of the country, in the Southeast, for example, I'm from South Carolina, people are keeping their heads down. They're subject to book bans. They have a lot of scrutiny and surveillance of what they're actually doing in their districts and in their rooms. And these people are changing how they're talking about the work, but still supporting students as best they can. And then in places like where I'm at right now, Chicago, more blue-leaning states and districts, those people are continuing to speak truth to power, continuing on with the work that they are committed to, such as the Black Student Success Plan, even though, as you mentioned, the federal government is withholding crucial, important resources and funds to support the implementation of their strategic plans, like their Black Student Success Plan. So, I mean, I think my response would be as best you can. The one thing that we did learn is that we encourage people not to try to do this alone.
Yeah.
And the people who were the most successful that we studied, they were the people who understood how to move in solidarity, how to move coalitionally, and to not do things on their own, to not stand up or not to speak up on their own, but to do it as a chorus of many.
Yeah. Dr. Decoteau Irby, again, University of Illinois, Chicago, professor and co-editor of the co-editor and co-author, I should say, of the book Doing the Work of Equity Leadership for Justice and Systems Change. Thank you for your work, witness, sir. Good to have you on this program. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I want to close this hour with some sound of Ruby Bridges. You all know Ruby Bridges. She integrated the schools in New Orleans. She's the one made famous in that Norman Rockwell painting. Here's her talking about how we navigate an era of banned books beyond.
What goes through your mind when you hear these debates unfold all in schools across the country about what should be taught, what should be read, what shouldn't be, access to books? What do you think about?
Well, I think that's ridiculous. I mean, most of my books have been banned. And the excuse that I've heard them give is that my story actually makes, especially white kids, feel bad about themselves. My "25 years of traveling," that they resonate with the loneliness, probably the pain that I felt, not having a friend. There's all sorts of reasons that they are drawn to my story. So I would have to disagree. I believe, but I can't swear to that, but I believe that it's just an excuse not to share the truth, to cover up history. But I believe that history is sacred, that none of us should have the right to change or alter history in any way.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. John Beam, the college football coach featured on Netflix's Last Chance U, has died after being shot Thursday on Laney College's campus in Oakland, California. Black former Oakland Police Chief Lerone Armstrong says Beam was more than a coach.
He was a father figure to thousands of not only men, but young women in our community.
Police arrested 27-year-old Cedric Irving Jr., calling the attack targeted. Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson's $16 billion budget faces a key vote today, but a proposed corporate head tax is a sticking point. Johnson says it's either tax big corporations or raise property and garbage fees. And philanthropist Mackenzie Scott has donated $50 million to Bowie State University, the largest gift in its history. The Maryland HBCU previously received $25 million from Scott in 2020. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
It's the Black Friday of all Black Fridays now at Big O Tires. Buy 3, get 1 free on select tires with paid installation. Or get 50% off a full synthetic oil change and 20% off any repair service. It's Black Friday now through December 7th at your local Big O Tires.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron may be getting close to making his debut for his 23rd NBA season. LeBron was reassigned to the Lakers roster Sunday after practicing and scrimmaging for 4 days last week with the South Bay Lakers, the team's G League affiliate. LeBron will practice today with the Lakers. A decision could be made to put LeBron in the lineup for Tuesday's home game against Utah. LeBron has been out since training camp with a sciatic nerve condition in his lower back and left leg. The Rams took over first place in the NFC West after their 21-19 showdown win over Seattle at SoFi SoFi. Seattle kicker Jason Myers missed a 61-yard field goal attempt at the final buzzer. The 8-2 Rams intercepted Seattle quarterback Sam Darnold 4 times. The Chargers were embarrassed in Jacksonville Sunday. They lost 35-6. The Chargers dropped to 7-4, 2 games behind Denver in the AFC West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Let me be clear about what we're witnessing here. A textbook case of talking about communities instead of talking with them. Pedro Pizarro organized the community town hall. Southern California Edison first confirmed participation and then abruptly canceled. There was no time available on Mr. Pizarro's calendar for a face-to-face conversation with the individuals and families who have lost everything due to the negligence of Southern California Edison. This is not an accident. This is a choice about who deserves direct engagement and who gets managed through press statements. When you talk to the LA Times about people, you control the narrative. You get to frame the issues on your terms, with your spin, filtered through journalists who may or may not push back. But when you show up to a town hall, you face real questions from real people experiencing real problems. There's no PR buffer. There's real accountability. This pattern of being available to corporate media, but unavailable for community dialogue, sends a clear message about whose voices matter and whose don't. It's the kind of disrespect that hides behind busy schedules and prior commitments, but the community sees right through it. If these issues are important enough to discuss with the LA Times, they're important enough to discuss directly with the people living them. Anything less isn't just disrespectful, it's a fundamental failure of leadership and accountability. Mr. Pizarro says in the LA Times interview, I need to go to the supermarket in Pasadena or Altadena and be able to look people in the eye. We want to do the right thing for our community. You had a chance to look folk in the eye at our town hall meeting last week, but you didn't show up. And then we invited you for a one-on-one conversation here at the station, but you have yet to confirm. So please, please stop with the gaslighting. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
I know Karida too, Karida Brown. You'll meet her in just a second. In this final hour of our program today, 2 conversations. On the B side, we'll be joined by Congressman James I know Karida. Her name is Karida too. Karida Brown, spelled Karida. She's a Fulbright scholar, an Emory University sociology professor who has a book out called The Battle for the Black Mind. And I'm delighted to have Karida Brown on this program. I know Karida. Karida, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Tavis. Thank you.
It's good to have you on the program. Thank you for the time that we have. Let me make the most of it. I wanted to start with this as a setup for the audience for what this book is, and then let's get inside and interrogate it. In this book, The Battle for the Black Mind, you explore who gets to shape Black thought and why. Very critical question here, or issue at least. Who gets to shape Black thought and why? You trace the legacy of education beginning with the emancipation through the current day. And uncover how schools and formal education have been both a tool for liberation as well as a method of control. A tool for liberation as well as a method for control. There's a lot to unpack in the half hour or less that I have here. First of all, this audience knows how I like to do this. Tell me the backstory, how this book came to be, and then we'll jump right inside of it.
So, Tavis, I have been researching this book for about 8 years. Archival research all across the United States, the archives in the U.S. South, philanthropy archives in the Northeast, and all around the world. I've spent time in South Africa, Australia, looking at the historical roots of Black education globally, but also telling the story of who had a vested interest in the Black mind. And what I found was that it's everybody. That's why the book is called The Battle for the Black Mind, because I talk about all of the different actors and forces and institutions that tried to predetermine Black freedom dreams. But more importantly, through the book, I wanted to tell the story of what Black Americans themselves did to found our own schools and institutions of education in the face of Jim Crow. So this book focuses on those moments before Brown versus Board of Education. You know, I enter the book as a scholar because that's what I am. I'm a sociologist. All of my research focuses on telling the stories of Black people, places, and things. However, this book in particular is personal. My mother and father, Richard and Arnita Brown, they attended the Lynch public colored schools in the little segregated community they grew up in Kentucky. They told me stories about what took place in those, what they called then those colored schools. These were institutions that were meant to be separate and unequal and designed to deliver an inferior education to Black minds. Okay? That's the context that my parents grew up in. But when they would tell me stories about what happened in their schools, that wasn't the end of the story. They got a tremendous, phenomenal education. Why? Because the Black teachers in those schools made sure that that was so. They made sure that people like my parents and generations of African Americans and that desegregated the public school system. So when you think about Ruby Bridges or the Little Rock Nine, there were hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Black youth just a generation ago who they were the foot soldiers to perfect our American democracy.
Yeah, we just played a clip of Ruby Bridges just a moment ago before you came on. In our prior conversation, we wrapped that with a clip of Ruby Bridges. Just getting started with Professor Karida Brown. The book is called The Battle for the Black Mind. When we come forward, now that she sort of laid the groundwork here, my obvious question is whether or not there is still a battle for the Black mind. And if there is, who are the combatants and who's winning? Who's winning that battle for the Black mind? Just getting started with Professor Brown here on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at kbla1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to kbla1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. Enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Karida Brown, professor at Emory. The new book is called The Battle for the Black Mind. We were just really getting started here. But I asked her just to lay out the thesis of the text, and she did that quite nicely. Before I jump, again, straightway into it, let me just ask you whether or not in this current moment, because obviously, as I said, this thing, you trace this thing from this legacy of education from emancipation all the way to the current day. Is there still a battle for the black mind? And if so, who are the combatants and who's winning?
The battle absolutely continues. When you look at the long history of black education, every generation has just think about a relay. They've taken their baton to make sure that the relay is assured. So that's the moment that we're in today. Our ancestors were fighting that battle of, whether black folks should be able to have access to education at all. They were fighting the battle of what could be in our curriculum. Generation before me fought the battle of getting black studies and black history embedded into the curricula. But here we are today in 2025, where we have the same playbook that has been ran on African Americans in this country being rinsed and repeated on all Americans pretty much. And what is that playbook? The battle that we're facing today, the whole knowledge ecosystem of the United States is under attack. That is, book banning and whitewashing of the curricula, trying to restrict AP African American Studies. But Tavis, those are just the tip of the iceberg, red herrings, if you will, for us to just focus on that. And I want us to look at the whole knowledge ecosystem. What is being attacked are our databases that allow us to even study and quantify how racial inequity is impacting all manner of life in the United States. What is also being attacked are archives and libraries. And what that means is for everyday librarians who are deciding which books to shelf or not, the simple decision of, if I put in this black book on the shelf, do I want that smoke? Maybe I'll just make a different decision. So there are explicit and subtle ways in which our education system is being just crumbled before our right under our feet.
Yeah.
In addition to the whitewashing,
Yeah.
in addition to the Project 2025 of it all. So we've got to look at the whole
Yeah.
picture.
I'm glad you unpacked that so eloquently and so beautifully. Can the ecosystem? I want to use your phrase here because I like it. It applies here quite nicely. Can this knowledge ecosystem, as you call it, again, love the phraseology, can that knowledge ecosystem withstand? Can it withstand this assault?
It can, but Tavis, I'm just going to be honest, to roll up our sleeves and decide, are we doing democracy or not? Because democracy is a verb. It's something that we do every day. And I think that we're still processing a lot of, how we even got here and that we're here today. But I the will is there.
Yeah.
But it's time to get organized.
Yeah.
If I may, can I
Sure.
just point back to that playbook? And I think that'll be helpful in, laying out the what's ahead of us in terms of the work. So the playbook is threefold. From the the side of the occupiers of the White House right now. That is, step one is to defund. That is our whole, like I said, the knowledge ecosystem. That's to try to bring the Department of Education to its knees. That is to pull away grants and funding from colleges and universities, research and all of that, and to whitewash the education system. When I say defund, they're not going to wipe it out completely, but just bring it to a point where it's so raggedy where nothing works. That brings you to step two. What they're doing is manufacturing chaos. That's intentional. That's to make you feel overwhelmed. That's to make you feel that this problem is too big for your little action to mean anything or to matter, to make you tired. That brings us to step three. When folks are weary and worn out, you just want somebody to come fix it. And that's when the billionaires come in. That's step three. That's the cycle that we're watching play out. And we must not fall for that trick, that tried and true trick, that it's not power to the people, but power to the people in power. So part of our job is to empower ourselves. And one way to do that is through our history. What our ancestors and elders did, they left us the blueprint for how to fight this.
Yeah. See, that's the part that now you're into the sweet spot for me, because that's the part that I'm always wrestling with. You say empower ourselves, and I don't disagree. But I wonder, given the viciousness, the intensity on all fronts of this assault that we are under, whether or not folk really understand that they have that kind of agency. You take my question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we must believe it. So I'll go back to freedom dreaming. We've heard that term. The brilliant scholar Robin D.G. Kelly really brought that to fore for us. All change, any social movement, any freedom movement starts with a radical political imagination that goes beyond your current circumstance. So if you're to look at right now and let that determine how you're going to get up and act today, what you're going to do, of course you'll feel overwhelmed and defeated. I am not at all diminishing that power is real. The resources on that other side, the strategy, this has been decades in the making on the side of the far right. So we must recognize that, but also recognize that we have tremendous power, not only as individuals, but especially as a collective. So it's that getting organized peace. It is that canceling each other every time we disagree, so that we can get to that place that we all need to be, so all of our children can be safe and nourished and get what they need out of these school systems here in this country. So there are many, many steps, but it starts with a radical political imagination.
Yeah. I'm still noodling, still marinating on on those three steps you spoke of earlier. In my mind, I just call them the three Ds: defund, disrupt, and depress. Right. You said defund, and you said secondly manufacture chaos. That's just disruption for me. And then we get so desperate, my third D, that to your point, we just want somebody to come fix it, and that's when the millionaires show up. So I get that loud and clear. You have argued, though, you argue in the book that formal education, which we're critiquing in this dialogue, has been, as I said earlier, both a tool for liberation as well as a method of control. The liberation part we get, you've sort of explained that. Can you talk about the latter part, about the way in which formal education has been used as a method of control?
Absolutely. So there's a reason why the book is called The Battle for the Black Mind, which I alluded to earlier. One is such, you ever heard that phrase, all money ain't good money?
Oh, yeah, sure.
That is a major theme that runs through this book, and I illuminate it through stories of how, back then, in our post-emancipation, pre-Brown versus our Jim Crow era, white philanthropy from the North, which is very much a proxy for, the millionaire and billionaire class. So think your Rockefellers and Carnegies, had such a vested interest in the future of Black education that in the late 19th and early 20th century, they poured tens of millions of dollars into attempting to completely capture the curricula that was taught specifically in Black segregated schools. What was that curricula? It was called the industrial education model. That was a curricula that was based on teaching Black children how to do, not think, training them for jobs in agriculture, farming, and domestic service, and also training teachers that would go out through the South, Black teachers who would go out through the South and teach those topics to our kids. And I want to ask you, Tavis, after 250 years of slavery, do you think that the first priority for Black minds was that we needed more training in domestic service and farming?
Yeah, I hear your question. I hear your point. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Sure. But why the investment? The investment was because, these philanthropies are proxy for big money. These are folks who owned the railroad companies, who owned the coal mines, who owned the factories. They needed a population of doers who would come do that back-breaking work and not use their voice, not organize, not try to join unions, who would take second-class wages, and they wanted to effectuate that on these 4 million newly freed African Americans, not getting them through the whip, but you can take a whole generation and depoliticize them through their minds, through education. So if I'm telling that story in the battle for the Black mind, it's not just to tell history, it's for us a statedly ultra right-wing organization where they're putting out content telling children that slavery wasn't that bad and that everybody was slaves, but look, it helped civilize people. This is dangerous rhetoric that if you apply it to a whole generation, you will create a generation of lost souls who don't know history, and for Black minds in particular, Black children who don't know their history. That's a setup to have a depoliticized and lost people.
I am. This program is syndicated across the country, so you're being heard everywhere right about now. But I'm sitting in L.A., where I sit every day, where this show emanates live from Los Angeles, and you might be pleased to know, maybe displeased to know, that I know Dennis Prager. I've known Dennis Prager for years. The founder of Prager University. He is in L.A. Has been for years. Wow. He was a major talk show host for years here on a station in LA, KABC. He and I were colleagues on KABC at the same time. So I've known Dennis Prager for years, even before he started Prager University. And you're right, this is some dangerous stuff. But you said Prager University, and my skin got itchy because I have known Dennis for so long, and it's tragic. It's tragic.
Send him a text and tell him to stop that.
Yeah, and I'm going to send him a text and say, read your book, The Battle for the Black Mind.
And the other part is, don't just look at Prager and Prager University and what it's doing.
Yeah.
Look at who's funding that.
That's right.
Follow the money.
That's right. I want to circle back to this. I got just 2 minutes left. This conversation could go on for another hour or so. But I want to circle back in these last 2 minutes to this knowledge ecosystem that you referenced earlier, and your notion that when I ask you about this formal education model being used to control us over a period of time, you made the point that it was designed to teach people, black people that is, to do but not to think. To do but not to think. So we're not really engaged in critical thinking or problem solving here. Is the knowledge ecosystem as currently structured still about do versus think versus problem solving, where our kids are concerned?
Where our kids are concerned, the knowledge ecosystem is particularly focused in this stage with whitewashing history.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main primary aim right now.
Right.
That is to make sure that your black child will go to school and never encounter Nikki, never encounter Jimmy, never encounter the writings of Malcolm X, George Johnson of today, the Karida Browns of the world, the Dr. Marcus Anthony Hunters, making sure that shaping a narrative that black people have contributed nothing at all to these United States or to the world. And also, and I'd say this is even more nefarious, also at the same time driving home the notion that racism, white supremacy, and all the systems and structures that have been put in place to drive that don't exist.
Yeah.
And even talking about that makes you a victim, and it makes you less than. So that is a depoliticizing program, a de-racializing program that is quite active. And if they complete
want somebody to fix it and enter the billionaire class.
Here come Elon.
Yeah, exactly. Here come Elon. And then she made clear that the pushback against those 3 steps starts with a radical political imagination. And you get that when you read the book, The Battle for the Black Mind by Karida L. Brown. Professor Brown, thank you for the work and for the witness. Good to have you on this program. All the best to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tavis.
My pleasure. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. John Bean, the college football coach featured on Netflix's Last Chance U, has died after being shot Thursday on Laney College's campus in Oakland, California. Black former Oakland Police Chief Lerone Armstrong says Bean was more than a coach.
He was a father figure to thousands of not only men, but young women in our community.
Police arrested 27-year-old Cedric Irving Jr., calling the attack targeted. Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson's $16 billion budget faces a key vote today, but a proposed corporate head tax is a sticking point. Johnson says it's either tax big corporations or raise property and garbage fees. And philanthropist Mackenzie Scott has donated $50 million to Bowie State University, the largest gift in its history. The Maryland HBCU previously received $25 million from Scott in 2020. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
It's the Black Friday of all Black Fridays now at Big O Tires. Buy 3, get 1 free on select tires with paid installation. Or get 50% off a full synthetic oil change and 20% off any repair service. It's Black Friday now through December 7th at your local Big O Tires.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron may be getting close to making his debut for his 23rd NBA season. LeBron was reassigned to the Lakers roster Sunday after practicing and scrimmaging for 4 days last week with the South Bay Lakers, the team's G League affiliate. LeBron will practice today with the Lakers. A decision could be made to put LeBron in the lineup for Tuesday's home game against Utah. LeBron has been out since training camp with a sciatic nerve condition in his lower back and left leg. The Rams took over first place in the NFC West after their 21-19 showdown win over Seattle at SoFi. Seattle kicker Jason Myers missed a 61-yard field goal attempt at the final buzzer. The 8-2 Rams intercepted Seattle quarterback Sam Darnold 4 times. The Chargers were embarrassed in Jacksonville Sunday. They lost 35-6. The Chargers dropped to 7-4, 2 games behind Denver in the AFC West. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear in fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed. Some people make history. Some people write history. James Clyburn has done both, and I'm pleased to have him back on this program. The book is called The First Eight, a personal history of the pioneering black congressman who shaped a nation. Congressman Clyburn, good to have you back. How are you, my friend?
Well, thank you very much for having me back.
It's good to hear your voice. Good to hear your voice. Let me start with this. Again, I say this all the time. My audience knows how I like to do this. I love to hear the backstory. Tell me why. I mean, you've known this history for a long time. Why did you finally decide to write this book?
Well, right after I published my memoir, I was in my conference room one day, and a group came in and looked up at the wall and saw these 8 portraits on my wall.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them asked me, who are those? There were 8. And so later that day, I said to my staff, I said, no, I think my next book is going to be about these 8 people. Mm-hmm. And then I started just taking notes and organizing the book. Wasn't all that serious about it. Wasn't in no hurry.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, the 2020 election came, and the aftermath to that election told me that this book needed to be written because, as you know, when that election was over, the losing incumbent president, Donald Trump, started out to really try to overcome his loss by rigging electoral votes coming out of Michigan, Pennsylvania, made that famous call down to Georgia trying to get them to find votes, trying to overturn the results of the Electoral College, which is exactly what happened in 1876 and got these 8 people kicked out of office. Now, I said there were 8 before me, but there's 95 years between number 8 and yours truly. And so I decided to write this book, not just about these people, who they were, but about what led to that 95-year gap between number 8 and number 9, and that's what we have here. Yeah. A book that tells the history of these phenomenal people. Now, most people know Robert Smalls, or know of him, but they don't know these other 7. Yeah. And you will find in their service and their lives some incredible things that will open your eyes to how effective these people were in that period between 1870 and 1897.
Yeah. I want to let you opine here in a second about that 95-year gap, why it took so long between that last of the 8 and James Clyburn to show up. We'll talk about that 95-year gap in a second. But I'm still fascinated. I'm still hanging on this story you told about these persons coming in your conference room and seeing these pictures on the wall. What possessed you? I know you're a student of history, but what possessed you to put all 8 of them on the wall in your conference room?
You know, Tavis, I don't know. I just feel, and always have felt. I guess I got it from my dad, and my dad used to say to me all the time, son, there's nothing new under the sun.
That's right.
And he would ensure that little things that I said or that I did he would put it in the proper perspective. And so what would this country be but for Robert Smalls? Robert Smalls, in Abraham Lincoln's own words, he said that were it not for those black soldiers that came in to the Civil War and fought on the side of the Union, that war would have been lost. Abraham Lincoln said that. Now, who did that? A lot of people thought it was Frederick Douglass. No, Robert Smalls, who got his freedom by escaping in 1862, March of that year. In August of that same year, he was sitting down here in Washington, D.C., with Abraham Lincoln, and he convinced Lincoln to allow blacks to serve in that war. And he was authorized to go back to South Carolina, recruit 5,000 black soldiers. It turned into 40,000, and they were the difference in the Union winning that war. And so Robert Smalls, I could go to people like Richard Kane. Richard Kane went to South Carolina from Bridge Street AME Church in New York to rebuild Emmanuel AME Church when the folks burned it down because of the Denmark Vesey insurrection, which was being planned in the basement of that church.
Yeah.
So here's Kane going down there and becoming the pastor of Emmanuel AME Church. And subsequent to that, the church got so big, they had to build a second church. These are things that I thought would be important for people to know and to write how it fits into what's going on today.
Yeah.
And one little example, when they went out to implement Jim Crow, they told all their believers, their followers, the redeemers, I call them in this book, to wear red shirts. Red shirts. Think about MAGA, red caps. If you look at little things of that throughout this book, people will get a great understanding of what was happening on January 6, 2021, when the big insurrection took place here. Donald Trump is now pardoned all of the participants. And you will see that Andrew Johnson, who became president after Abraham Lincoln, he pardoned almost all the people who led the insurrection against the United States of America. So what's going on today almost mimics exactly what went on in 1876.
No, I love how
it's all in this book.
No, I love how you laid that out. When we come forward with Congressman James Clyburn, he's laying this thing out. When we come forward, I want to ask you, he talked about Robert Smalls. He said a word about Richard Kane. I guess there are 8. We ain't got time to run through all 8. I wouldn't anyway, because I'm trying to help him sell this book and move some product here. So I ain't going to give you all 8. To James Clyburn, talking about his new book, The First 8, A Personal History of the Pioneering Black Congressman Who Shaped a Nation. I'm glad to have him once again on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GOLD for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GOLD for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GOLD for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action for
who has a new book out called The First Eight, A Personal History of the Pioneering Black Congressmen Who Shaped a Nation. You mentioned Mr. Smalls. You mentioned Mr. Kane. Say a word about Joseph Rainey, Congressman.
Joseph Rainey was born enslaved in Georgetown, South Carolina. His father was a barber and was allowed to make extra money that he could keep. He saved that money up and bought his family's freedom. And they moved from Georgetown to Charleston, where his father and he became barbers. So we hear all this talk about barbershop politics as if it's something new. Joseph Rainey, the first African-American to ever serve or ever be elected,
came out the barbershop.
Was a barber. So nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
So he got conscripted into the Confederate Army, didn't like that too well. He and his wife escaped and moved. Well, I'd say escaped now. He wasn't enslaved anymore, but they got on a ship and went to Bermuda and lived in Bermuda for the duration of the war. Anybody go to visit in Bermuda now, you're subject to run into Barber's Alley. Barber's Alley in Bermuda is named in honor of Joseph Rainey, who was a barber in Bermuda, and his wife was a dressmaker. And when the Civil War was over, they came back to Charleston, went down to Georgetown, where he was born, and that's where he entered politics and became one of the most prolific politicians ever. And you see his iconic pictures everywhere.
Yeah. So these eight that you profile in this book, I was thinking about this a couple of days ago, reading your book, preparing for this conversation. These eight were among what I would call the original Congressional Black Caucus. It wasn't organized as such, the way we know the CBC today, of which you've been a longtime member. But say a word about what they were able to accomplish, during their time in Congress. You've already laid out the story of how they got pushed out, but did they get anything done when they were there?
They got a whole lot done. A lot of people have heard of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, and some people think that it's the most prolific Civil Rights Act ever. They got that done, and it took a lot of work. They were not unified. They were not unanimous, but they were unified in it. One or two of them didn't vote for it in the final analysis simply because it didn't have some things in it that they wanted, like education and the voting rights. All these things that came later, a lot of them failed to get in that original Civil Rights Act of 1866. But lawyers are still winning cases today using the 1866 Civil Rights Act because it was a very simple act. They said in a few words that up until this day. They got that done. The little town of Lincolnville, right outside of Somerville, that town was found by Richard Kane, and it still exists today. It was a black town back then, ain't so much today, but Richard Kane found that town, named it after Abraham Lincoln, and he was the first one to establish home ownership as a wealth creator. Richard Kane did that. I could go through each one of these people and tell you stuff about them that we live by today. But yes, one interesting thing I want to say. All 8 of these people lived as black. One of them was by choice. He was not black. That was Thomas E. Miller, the first president of South Carolina State, was born out of wedlock to the daughter of Thomas Haywood, who signed the Declaration of Independence. But he was adopted by an African-American family and decided to live his life out as a black person, went to Lincoln University, the HBCU there in Pennsylvania, and decided to go back to South Carolina and live the life of a black person and became the first president of South Carolina State University, my alma mater.
Yeah. There's so much rich history in this book. It's called The First 8, a personal history of the pioneering black congressman who shaped the nation, written by the longtime Congressman James Clyburn. When we come forward, speaking of long time, we'll close this conversation by allowing him to opine, as he will, on that 95-year gap. There was a 95-year gap, in case you've just tuned in, between the last of these first 8 that he has written about and James Clyburn actually showing up. He was not the first. There were 8 prior to him, but there was a 95-year gap between number 8 and James Clyburn. Why did it take 95 years for James Clyburn to show up out of South Carolina? That's the exit question when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on autopsy, then
Just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up for 40 days of consistency. All over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
I've got a tight 3 minutes left, just 3 minutes here, and I want to, as they say in Washington, yield the balance of my time to the gentleman from South Carolina to tell me why it took 95 years for him to show up, sir.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me to do this. I'm seeking I do it in 3 minutes.
Okay.
In 1876, we had a presidential election. And as everybody knows, after the Civil War, when we were trying to put the country back together, they established something called the Electoral College, which means that no matter how many popular votes you get, you got to get these votes in states that will add up to a majority of the electoral votes. Well, when the election was over in 1876, a man named Samuel Tilden from New York had 184 votes. But at that time, in order to win the Electoral College, you had to have 185. He came up one vote short. The guy from Ohio, Rutherford B. Hayes, had 165. So he needed 20 votes. Well, 3 states, Florida, South Carolina, Louisiana, they sent up 2 sets of electors. One pro-slavery group sent a set of electors, the other anti-slavery group sent a set of electors. So those 3 states trying to hold on to slavery sent 2 sets of electors. The House couldn't figure out what to do because the election got thrown into the House of Representatives, which is what they were trying to do on January 6, 2021. So the House appointed a committee, 15-member committee, and told them to meet with these candidates, study the issue, and make a recommendation as to what the House should do. After those meetings was over, those 3 those 15 members voted and I'll bring it into Reconstruction, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So by a vote of 8-7, he got those votes, and by a vote of 185 to 184, Hayes became president.
Fast forward some years, and James Clyburn ends up in Congress. That's the story, right?
Absolutely.
I love it. You did it in 3 minutes, man. You told that story beautifully in less than 3 minutes, and I thank you for that. I'm up against the wall, but I thank you for that story. The book is called The First 8, A Personal History of the Pioneering Black Congressman Who Shaped a Nation, written by James Clyburn. You got just a taste of it. It's a rich book. I highly recommend it. Congressman, it's always an honor to have you back on this program. My friend, all the best to you, sir.
Thank you, buddy. Look forward to seeing you soon.
I look forward to it, my friend. Back here tomorrow. Until then, and as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. John Beam, the college football coach featured on Netflix's Last Chance U, has died after being shot Thursday on Laney College's campus in Oakland, California. Black former Oakland Police Chief Lerone Armstrong says Beam was more than a coach.
He was a father figure to thousands of not only men, but young women in our community.
Police arrested 27-year-old Cedric Irving Jr., calling the attack targeted. Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson's $16 billion budget faces a key vote today, but a proposed corporate head tax is a sticking point. Johnson says it's either tax big corporations or raise property and garbage fees. Crime philanthropist Mackenzie Scott has donated $50 million to Bowie State University, the largest gift in its history. The Maryland HBCU previously received $25 million from Scott in 2020. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
It's the Black Friday of all Black Fridays now at Big O Tires. Buy 3, get 1 free on select tires with paid installation, or get 50% off a full synthetic oil change and 20% off any repair service. It's Black Friday now through December 7th at your local Big O Tires.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A couple of highlights and one lowlight from the Rams and Chargers games on Sunday. When Rams wide receiver Devontae Adams caught a 1-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Matthew Stafford, it was the 1,000th career catch for Adams in his 11-year career. Stafford's 2 touchdown passes yesterday gives him 27 this season, tops in the NFL. As for the lowlight, the Chargers gave up a season-high 192 yards rushing at Jacksonville and 4 rushing touchdowns. The Chargers got manhandled at the line of scrimmage. Fortunately for the Chargers, the 192 yards rushing is not the most allowed by a team this season. The Carolina Panthers gave up 374 yards rushing.